one sentence: knowledge brings credibility. Definitely. So I think it's part of what we do is to contribute to the industry with knowledge, and research is a part of that, right? In our industry, science is a part of that. So you have to base your decisions, your product development, your strategies need to be based on what the field needs.
So, hi everyone. Welcome to another Wisenetix podcast episode. I am Ricardo Vivian, business development lead at Wisenetix, one of the main players when it comes to technical content production in the livestock business. I'm a gold medalist in graphic design and World Skills, the largest skills competition in the world. I got my bachelor's in design and visual communication, and in the past 10 years, I've been adventuring myself in multiple industries, from communication and marketing, branding to business and also education. The Wisenetix podcast is a project that aims to create a platform for business and marketing leaders of the ag industry to share their ideas and visions about the industry, but also about the world and about themselves also. Why not? Today, I have here with me Natalia Heisterkamp. Natalia is the Director of Global Strategy at Crystal Spring Hog Equipment, a company that leads the hog industry in solutions with quality, innovation, and simplicity. Welcome, Natalia.
Thank you, Ricardo. It's very, very nice to be here with you today. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, you're welcome. One thing that I always like to say in the beginning of our episodes is that I am not an English native speaker, so if you notice any mistakes, be patient. I am from Brazil, so I also my language is Portuguese, but I'm doing my best here, so be patient.
And I am not either. I'm also a Brazilian, so it's going to be a Brazil to Brazil here today. So,
Yeah, and you're the first Brazilian I have here, so
oh,
that's
nice.
that's a special a special episode. Uh, Natalia, for us to start here, I'd love if you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, so I'm Natalia, like he kind of said. It's been 7 years now that I've been working with Crystal Spring Hog Equipment. 3 of those years have been here in the United States. I live in Omaha, Nebraska, even though I'm a native Brazilian. I'm married to an American who also works with us at Crystal Spring Hog Equipment. So we kind of live and breathe pigs here in our house. I have an 11-year-old kid that, as any good Brazilian, loves soccer and keeps us very busy with all that. And I've been working now for 25 years and have passed through different industries and different sectors, have worked with big multinationals, corporate America companies, and have worked with small family businesses, and that's pretty much who I am. So
That's great. Thanks for the introduction, Natalia. Also, for the audience to know a little bit more about Natalia, I have a question here that usually it's not exactly about achievements, but also experiences. So, what would you say are your top 3 achievements or experiences, and what did you learn from those experiences?
yeah. Well, I think, as I mentioned on my introduction, I've been working since very young, and passed through many industries and different kind of experiences. And I think one of my greatest achievements was transition between all those companies, realities, industries with hardly no issues. I usually say that when I worked in the auto industry, people would say, "Oh, so you majored in engineering, right?" And I was like, "No." And currently, I work with the hog industry, and people say, "So you're a vet, right?" And I say, "No." And that for me is a compliment because I was able to learn a lot about the different industries without necessarily, being in the um, being in the university or in the school for it. I used to say I lived the school of life, right? And I think that's a great accomplishment. Um, Also, managing people, managing relationships, especially in small family business. Sometimes in big multinational companies, corporate America, you gotta be a little bit of a politician, right? To transition between the big and the small, the egos and the cultures and all that. But it's also a challenge when you work for small companies because there's different ways to do things, and you have to have a component of almost trying to be part of the family. Trying to be part of what they see for their business, the way they do their business, and so those kind of transitions between relationships and just being able to throw yourself inside the company cultures, no matter what they are. I think they're always good accomplishments. And recently, like to mention, the third one was I had the opportunity with Crystal Spring Hog Equipment to set up our entity in Brazil, our subsidiary in Brazil, from the scratch, from non-existing company to a company that's now almost 7 years in business in Brazil, bringing great solutions for the Brazilian markets, and I'm very proud of it. We're very proud to be part of it.
That's nice. That's nice. I love how you brought mostly in the first experience about how you're able to adapt and learn today. I think it's an essential skill, even if you're staying in the same business segment. Things are changing so fast nowadays that if you're not able to adapt, you're going to be behind, even if you stay in the same
True.
industry.
True.
And I don't want to be repetitive because we had just had another episode, and I was talking to Lasse. He's works at Protecta, and one thing that came again as in the discussion is that, like, it's not the strongest who survives, it's the one that is able to adapt, right? The flexible.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's a very necessary skill nowadays, in my opinion. Natalia, so you've been through auto industry. That is a new thing for me. I didn't know that. But today, working the hog business, building equipment, and creating this equipment that facilitate the life of producers. So, looking to what you see today, how do you think your parents would describe what you do today?
Oh, they probably would say that I talk about feeders all the time and how do I bend and weld metals, and every once in a while, or a lot, I come home very stinky. My parents and my son would say that. They are not farmers. They are not from this world. So that's probably how they would describe what I do nowadays. And she posts a lot of pictures with pigs. They would probably say that too.
She got her hands on, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, she's either in a barn with pigs or in the airplane going somewhere in the world. That's probably, like the most weird cities ever, because, you don't go to like touristic cities when you work with pigs, right? You go to the like inner country kind of cities. So that's probably how they would say in a very, very summarized way that's what I do. So
Either working with pigs or traveling to see pigs somewhere
or
else.
flying to see pigs, right?
Yeah. No, it's interesting how you brought this about like talking about feeders all the time. So I had the opportunity for you that is listening to us. I had the opportunity to meet with Natalia a few times in person and also online, like we're doing right now. And it's really, really nice. I remember one meeting we had one time, and Leandro, one of our partners here, was in the meeting also. And it's really nice to see that even though you don't have this academic background in the industry,
Yeah.
how your eyes shine when you're
Yeah.
talking about these
Yep.
technical aspects about feeders. One of the first meetings we had, I was like, I've been in the industry now for about a little bit more than one year and a half, so I'm pretty brand new, lots to learn still. And it was really nice to see like how you were bringing and the motivation you brought with yourself, like discussing these things. So
Yeah,
great,
and then
great.
you add Leandro to that, and then it's like geeking out, right?
Yeah, yeah, and Leandro, yeah, exactly. So it was a ping
We were
pong,
just geeking out about production numbers and things like that. So, yep.
yeah, was a good one. Natalia, I always ask this question about the parents because usually, especially nowadays with the new professions that are showing up in the world, sometimes it's hard for people to explain other people's professions. For example, I'm a
Yeah.
designer by my education was in this design. Right now, I'm working as a business development lead, and I always thought that it was really hard for my parents to describe that. And the reason why I asked that is that, to transition from an introduction session where we are getting to know a little bit more about you to part of our podcast when we discuss more about marketing and about business. And I would like to start here with a question about marketing. Today, as you mentioned, you do a lot of stuff from visiting farms, working, knowing, studying the feeders, to being present in social media, posting photos. You do a whole you have a whole interaction with your business, like you're multitasking, we can say. In terms of marketing, okay, so what do you think are the essential marketing tactics today for Crystal Spring, and what are those tactics that you have in your toolbox?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, like you said, I manage our global strategy, and part of that is managing all our marketing efforts. And I think I'm very basic in how I see our marketing, and the tactics and tools that I have. And it's mainly three things, in my opinion. It's research, planning, and consistency. So you have to research, to understand your market and to be able to see what your public, your consumers, your audience wants from your products and your company as a whole. Then you got a plan, because whatever marketing areas that you decide to act upon, or whatever strategies you decide, they have got to be like going along with what your overall strategy is. And so planning is basic, so that you have a story to tell as a company. And that's what marketing does for you. And so that progression needs to be planned, right? You start telling your audience who you are, then you start communicating to your audience where you want to be, what you do. And so there's a whole progression that comes with that. And if you don't have planning around that, and you don't stick to that planning, things can go pretty wrong. And at the end, consistency, because you have to be out there, communicating at all times. That communication needs to be consistent with your messaging, with your brand positioning. And so I think those three things they seem very basic, but they work. You don't have to go crazy, um, especially in our industry where you're dealing with, producers, farmers, companies that are all, oriented to ag. Simplicity, is key to success in the way we communicate our marketing.
Yeah, you, you mentioned they are basic, but they're essential, right?
Yep.
This I'll start from the your last word, which was consistency. That's something that I've been learning now a lot in Wisenetix. Like most of times, you are in a position, you're in a scenario that you have many things to do, many problems to solve, and sometimes if you just wait for the perfect moment or the perfect content, or like the perfect thing to be posted in terms of copywriting, design, and everything, you might put yourself in a position where you will not have a good consistency. Like sometimes, of course, we need always look to excellence. In my opinion, we are always trying to do our best, but at the same time, you need to do. And I think doing brings us closer to to perfection, and
Absolutely.
we definitely improve things with time. So one thing that I've learned in the last 1 year or so is that the first step is the most important, right? Is taking you out of inertia, and then of course keep going, have your consistency. Be aware that you need to be present in the digital world. So don't forget this, but also this is an industry where you need to have your in person efforts. Also, this is a an industry that happens a lot in the field. So you need to build your relations, be there, know your clients, visit them. But like, don't forget, like, you need to find a balance and have both these worlds happening and running. So consistency is key for that. And now the first thing that you brought is research. So understanding the market, 100% necessary. Like, that's how you're going to make your choice. That's how, after you understand your market, you can do the planning you were mentioning. But I would like to use this research, this word, to transition to my next question. After a few meetings with you, knowing you better, I could learn that Crystal Spring Hog Equipment is one of the equipment companies for the industry that invests the most, I would say, in research. Now, I'm not talking only about market research, but also about feeders, about how how they behave, and how changing one specific thing in your feeder, how it will impact the whole system. So I know that research is a key thing inside of Crystal Spring. So my next question is, do you think that producing and sharing technical content is important for brand positioning? And I bring this with a link with research, because I know you guys do a lot.
Yeah.
So do you
Yeah.
think it's important, and why?
Absolutely. It's absolutely. One sentence: knowledge brings credibility. Definitely. So I think it's part of what we do is to contribute to the industry with knowledge, and research is a part of that, right? And in our industry, science is a part of that. So you have to base your decisions, your product development, your strategies need to be based on what the field needs, right? It doesn't do us any good to sit in a computer and come up with great engineering ideas that are not applicable or that will not help the life of a producer. So field research is basic, and those results are what going to lead us into product innovation and improvements and all that. And so sharing that content that we generate through partnerships, through our own researches, or the research that we do with several universities around the world, or with field producers, around the world, are fundamental, because again, when you share knowledge, right, you create credibility. You create credibility in your story. You create credibility in your brand. And that's how you differentiate, especially in the equipment company, from everyone else that's just out there to sell a piece of band steel. That's not what we do. We want to go, ahead of that. We want to be ahead of the just being a feeder. We want to be like a complete solution that actually brings value to pig production worldwide. So
Perfect. So you were just saying, like, how Crystal has their feet on the field, and so in the beginning of our conversation, you also brought one of your achievements was helping to build this company from zero in Brazil, right?
yeah,
So this experience in the field brings you to the point where you can look to the context where things happen, right? It's not only about imagining the life of a producer, but seeing their their real problems, their real challenges. Do you see a lot of difference, like, from our pig farming in Brazil to Canada to United States when it comes to feeders? And do you guys, like, have anything that goes deep in different lines for these different industries, or how is it?
I think I think the technology and the product is needed and applicable everywhere in the world. There's just different ways that they are used based on, what the different places and industry want. But we always say that we travel around the world, and it doesn't matter if you're talking to a customer in the Philippines or in Mexico or in Brazil or in Quebec, Canada. By the end of the day, farmers are farmers, and they all want their pigs to perform. They all want to do it in a simple way, right? And they all care a lot about what they do. So I think that doesn't change. They're very similar in the way they want to support this industry, and I think that we need to understand that and base our products and our innovation on that.
Perfect, perfect. Natalia, next question I have here for you. So you create all this, you help to build all this knowledge. When it comes to putting outside, bringing it to the audience, to the industry, producers, how does Crystal uses digital media to not only spread this knowledge, but also to build relationship with the audience?
Yeah, I think we share a lot of information, and it's critical for us to understand how to best share that information, because not only you talk sometimes to vets and technicians that are really knowledgeable and can get all that research chart and fully understand what that means, but we also talk to producers, we also talk to barn managers, and I think that's the beauty of what digital media brings to us, because you have ways to communicate to both of those publics. You just got to know how to create the information, that will make both worlds interested in what you're wanting to share, and do it in a simple way that they really feel when they finish reading a paragraph or a 2-page article, that they really feel that they learned something, that they really feel that that's new information and that's going to be valuable and they're going to do something with it. Communication needs to add value, because if it's always more of the same, eventually you're going to lose your audience, right? You're going to, the audience is totally going to lose interest in what you're doing. So we need to be like creating new content all the time, and always being very responsible in the way that we share this information, to make certain that it's actually teaching and adding value.
Perfect. No, and it's, for me today, when I think about this, it's all about, education. People want to be sold. And again, I might repeat that a lot, but that's the truth. Once you start being like, hey, once you go with the traditional way, although things are changing a lot, once you go with the really traditional selling approach, you lose all the traction.
Absolutely.
Right? Don't try to sell me. Show me why you're an expert, why you know things, why you know stuff, and then we can talk business.
Exactly.
Perfect. So now a few questions about business and productivity. What is the most important lesson you believe you've learned in your career so far?
Probably, I think, based on what we discussed a little bit in the beginning when I was talking about my achievements, is probably how to navigate, people and cultures, and how to do it in a way that you find your way to be part of that organization, that you're respected by the people above you, and that you're admired by the people below you as a leader and an example that brings knowledge, that brings things that are good, and people go, okay, like, let's make part of this team because I can build something with that. So I think that's really important.
Okay, flexibility, important, soft skills. And what's one lesson that your job has taught you that you think everyone should learn some in some point of their lives?
Yeah. Um, like the Japanese say, go to Gamba. You know,
Go to Gamba.
don't just stay on your desk behind your computer. If you're working at a factory, go to the floor. If you're working at a farm, go to the barn. If you're, just if you're in marketing, go talk to people. Don't wait for people to come talk to you. Don't wait for the knowledge to come to you. Go seek that knowledge, because when you lead by example, everything is so much easier, and you get to inspire people without even trying. So I think that's something that this new generation, the really, really young people that are coming are lacking. And I hope that our generation that was led to do that, learn how to do that. Just keep teaching the kids and this new generation to go do that. Not to try to learn from a video or try to learn. Just get out of your house, get out of your school, get out of your work environment, and go see for yourself. Go seek knowledge for yourself. I think that's very important, and I think everyone should learn to do that.
Pure experience. Um, yeah, no, I was just, I know there are different ways of doing things. People manage their lives and professions in different ways. But one thing, two examples that I like a lot of successful entrepreneurs of our time. Uh, if you look to Elon Musk, and I know this is an extreme, like it's Elon Musk, but if you look at him, most people in his position, they could be, I don't know, living anywhere where they would like and just getting involved through some video calls and being part of boards and this kind of things. The guy basically lives in the factory floor, right? He's there all the time. That's where he can experience he can see all the bottlenecks of his production. This is where he gets all the experience to improve his service, to make a better, deliver a better product. And also Richard Branson, a guy that I just love, is he always brings this perspective of like experiment the product. He's never been, he said he hasn't been in any board meetings for the last, I don't know, 20 to 30 years, I think. But when it comes to product, when it comes to like the thing that the customers will be experiencing, that's where he gets involved. And most of people, I think, in higher positions, sometimes they forget this.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, I have one question here about productivity. Okay, so you probably have your routines and everything else. So at what time of day do you get like the best work done?
Oh, I'm like a get up in the morning person and start. When you work with the world, it's very hard to pick and choose, right? Sometimes I'm doing meetings at 3 a.m. in the morning with Asia. Sometimes, at 6 a.m. I'm already talking to a customer in Europe. And so it's hard. You just got to keep pounding to be productive as much as you can. But usually from morning until lunchtime is when I get most of it done. It's the time I like to be very productive.
Nice. And do you have any techniques like, hey, I reserve 2-3 hours of my day where I disconnect my telephone, like I don't want to be bothered, so you can get like continuously doing things? Or you're more one of those people who can, jump from task to task, keeping productivity and not losing track? Like how is it for
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. No, I multitask a lot and all of the time. I think the only times where I try to disconnect is beginning of the month when I'm doing, finance, budget, and closings for our companies, a company and things like that. So that would be like the only time when I'm dealing with numbers a lot, and I rather just start and finish. And so that would be the only time where I'll put all my messages and everything like on hold for 2 to 3 hours and just start, finish, and get it done. Other than that, I am usually doing 4 to 5 things at a time at all times, and it's fine. I mean, I don't know that I could do any different. I love doing it. I just love doing 4 things at a time. So
Congratulations to you then. I need focus. If I start, I have what they call like the deficit attention. I don't know in English something designs, but like if I start jumping to that, I never finish anything. Marcia knows that. Natalia, now a little bit of you know, it's our closing session now, trying to learn more about you also, but suggestions, things for life. What is one piece of advice you'd give to someone starting their career?
I would probably say, find a mentor, find examples in the marketplace that you admire, and learn from them. Ask questions, go seek knowledge and information, and build yourself around around a goal, and looking for someone that kind of shows what you want to be in the future, and just go with that.
Perfect. So if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Probably that person I worked with and taught me something.
Okay. Okay, good. So, and final question here. If you had to write a book tomorrow, what would you write about?
Wow, that's a hard one. I would probably just share with people my story. I'm very proud of having started working very young. I started working when I was 16. I think my dad was one of my main mentors and supporters in this. Went to live by myself very young by choice. Started paying my bills very young by choice. Went to school while I worked, which is something that people don't do very often nowadays. Still in Brazil, right? We do that a lot, but we don't see that a lot. And I think that shaped me in many ways, in the ways I do things, in the way I see the world, in the way that I learned, faster, because it was not only books, it was books and real experience, real life experience. So I'd probably write about that, and leave that kind of thing as a piece of advice for people that seek to build a career, and all that. So
That's cool. That's cool. Natalia, thanks a lot for your participation here with us today. Hopefully, in the future, you might have more options to talk again. Talk again. Once I am a better host, more prepared, we can have deeper conversations here. We're gonna keep in touch. Thanks a lot for your
you're
time
doing a
today.
great job for a rookie. Just keep it
You
up.
see? Yeah, I'm trying. I was like in the first episode, I was sweating, but now I'm sweating less than I was. One thing, Natalia, where people can find you online?
Oh, sure. I am on LinkedIn, Facebook, and also if you go to our company's website, crystalspring.com, there's going to be a link there to all our team members, and I'm going to be there. There's my phone, my email, WhatsApp, and I'm available all the time. So if you're interested in keep chatting, and keep exchanging informations, I'm always available.
That's perfect. Thanks a lot, Natalia. Thanks everyone that has listened to us, and see you in the next episode.
Thank you again for the invite. See you.